You're not tired. You're empty. There's a difference. Tired people rest and recover. But you wake up already drained, like someone pulled the plug on your soul while you slept. This is what emotional exhaustion feels like. It's not laziness. It's not weakness. It's what happens when you've been running on fumes for so long. You forgot what fuel even feels like. It started long before you realized. Maybe you were the child who learned that your feelings were too much, that your sadness made others uncomfortable, that your anger wasn't safe. So you learned to shrink, to smile when you were breaking, to say, "I'm fine," when your world was collapsing. You became the strong one, the reliable one, the one who holds everyone else together while quietly falling apart. And no one ever asked if you were okay. They just assumed, because you were so good at pretending. Inside, you feel like you're drowning in slow motion. Every conversation requires a performance. Every day demands energy you don't have. You're exhausted from caring, from trying, from being the person everyone needs while neglecting the person you are. You've forgotten what it feels like to just exist without the weight of expectation crushing your chest. You look around and see people living effortlessly, and you wonder what's wrong with you. Why does everything feel so heavy? Why does simply being alive require so much effort? This is emotional exhaustion, and it's rooted in something psychology calls chronic emotional labor. You've been managing not just your own emotions, but everyone else's too. You've been the emotional shock absorber in your family, your friendships, your relationships. When someone was upset, you fixed it. When someone needed support, you gave it, even when your own tank was empty. You learned that your worth was tied to your usefulness. That love was something you earned through service, not something you deserve simply for existing. Your nervous system never learned safety. It learned survival. It learned hypervigilance. You're always scanning for problems to solve, moods to manage, conflict to prevent. Your body hasn't relaxed in years. Your shoulders carry tension like bricks. Your jaw clenches in your sleep. You wake up tired because your nervous system worked the night shift, keeping watch over threats that don't exist anymore. But your body doesn't know that. It's still operating from a blueprint written in childhood, when being attuned to everyone else's emotions was how you stayed safe, stayed loved, stayed needed. As an adult, this pattern follows you everywhere. You're the friend who always shows up, but rarely asks for help. The partner who gives endlessly, but struggles to receive. The employee who takes on extra work because you can't say no. You built an entire identity around being low maintenance, easy, undemanding. And it's killing you. Your relationships feel one-sided because you've trained people that you don't have needs. Your boundaries are non-existent because you were never taught that you're allowed to have them. You're surrounded by people, yet you feel completely alone because no one truly knows you. They know the version you perform, not the one who's barely surviving underneath. You've optimized yourself out of your own life. You know everyone else's favorite coffee order, their stress triggers, their love language. But when was the last time someone asked about yours? When was the last time you even knew what you needed? You've become so skilled at reading the room that you've lost the ability to read yourself. Your emotions are background noise. Your needs are negotiable. Your exhaustion is something you apologize for instead of honoring. Here's the hidden wound you don't talk about. You're not afraid of being abandoned. You're afraid that if you stop performing, if you stop being useful, people will realize you were never worth staying for in the first place. You're terrified that your authentic self, the one who's tired and needs help and doesn't have all the answers, isn't lovable. So you keep giving, keep performing, keep pretending, because the exhaustion feels safer than the vulnerability of being seen. But let's talk about what this is really costing you. Your body is keeping score. The headaches, the digestive issues, the constant fatigue that no amount of sleep fixes. Your immune system is compromised because chronic stress is eating you alive from the inside out. You're not present in your own life. You're going through the motions, checking boxes, surviving, but you're not living. You're not feeling joy. You're not experiencing pleasure. You're not connecting authentically. You're a ghost in your own story, watching from a distance while everyone else seems to feel everything more deeply than you can anymore. And the cruelest part? You convince yourself this is just who you are, that you're naturally selfless, naturally giving. But that's not nature. That's conditioning. That's a coping mechanism that kept you safe once, but is now keeping you small. You're not a bottomless well. You're a human being who needs rest, support, reciprocity, and the permission to not be okay. Healing doesn't start with doing more. It starts with doing less. It starts with the radical act of disappointing people who've grown comfortable with your exhaustion. It starts with saying no without explanation or apology, with canceling plans because you need to rest, with asking for help even when it feels impossible, with admitting you're not fine and stopping the performance. You need to reconnect with a child inside you who learned that their needs didn't matter. The one who was taught to be small and accommodating. Hold that child. Tell them they don't have to earn love anymore. That rest isn't laziness. That needing support isn't weakness. That their feelings aren't too much. They were never too much. The people around them were simply not equipped to hold them. Learn to befriend your nervous system. It's been in fight or flight mode for so long, it forgot what safety feels like. You need to teach it through breath work, through somatic practices, through moments of stillness where you're not producing or performing or fixing anything. Your body needs to remember that it's allowed to rest, that the world won't collapse if you stop holding it together. Set boundaries like your life depends on it, because it does. Start small. Say no to one thing this week that you would normally force yourself to do. Notice the guilt. Sit with it. Understand that guilt is just the old programming trying to pull you back into the pattern. But you don't have to obey it anymore. You're allowed to prioritize yourself. You're allowed to be unavailable. You're allowed to choose your peace over someone else's comfort. Surround yourself with people who can hold space for your humanity, who don't need you to be strong all the time, who check on you without waiting for you to ask, who notice when you're struggling even when you're smiling. These people exist, but you have to stop settling for relationships where you're the only one giving. Reciprocity isn't selfish. It's the foundation of healthy connection. And please, give yourself permission to feel everything you've been suppressing. The anger at the people who took without giving back. The grief of the childhood you deserved but didn't get. The resentment for all the times you showed up when no one showed up for you. These emotions aren't dangerous. They're information. They're signposts pointing you toward what needs to change. Feel them. Honor them. Let them move through you instead of storing them in your body, where they turn into chronic pain and exhaustion. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not failing. You are a person who was taught to ignore their own needs in order to survive, and now you're learning to reclaim them. That's not easy work. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do, because it requires you to disappoint the people who've grown comfortable with your depletion. It requires you to believe you're worthy of care even when you're not producing, performing, or pleasing anyone. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to need. You are allowed to be human. Your worth is not measured by how much you endure or how little you ask for. It's inherent. It was there the day you were born, and it will be there the day you die, regardless of how useful you are to anyone. You don't have earned a right to take up space, to have needs, to be tired, to ask for help. You already have it. You always did. You were just taught to forget. The exhaustion isn't your identity. It's a symptom, a signal, a message from your body and soul that something needs to change. And change starts the moment you stop abandoning yourself for the comfort of others. The moment you choose yourself, even when it feels selfish. Especially when it feels selfish. Because choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. It's healing. It's the beginning of actually living instead of just existing in the service of everyone else's needs. You deserve a life where you're not constantly drained, where joy is possible, where rest is guilt-free, where your needs matter just as much as everyone else's. That life is waiting for you. But first, you have to put